my alarm system. Checked. Hello and welcome back to part 12 of 14 of the arcade Lego build Bartop Pac-Man. In the previous episodes, if you want to, I will upload them when I finish this because I've got a lot to do. The last build we did have a piece missing, which we had to build all of this top piece on this previous, and we had a previous piece missing, so that's two pieces officially missing out of the Lego. Lucky enough, on some of the parts that they did get, there was a black one, so I've got one black, one grey, but lucky that they did sort of include that, otherwise that would have been quite disastrous, because I couldn't obviously, these bits are important, and I'm really surprised with Lego because they normally don't have pieces missing. So we are up to, let me bring that camera down, so we're up to about here where we've finished this member top part, all to do with the high score and everything else. So you know, that's where we are at the moment. That's now been finished. I've not put the decals on. I will do that when it's all officially cleaned because it's a fingerprint magnet. So today I'm going to finish this and get the, get part 12 out of the way. We're on bag 12. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to flip it to the page that at the start of bag 12. Let's move the phone out of the way so I can have something to stand up. Actually, let's put the phone over here. Be easier. Just makes it easy because I need to stand the book up so I can have a look of what we need to do and guide it through. I know how long, so what's the start? 12:30. Coming up to nearly 12:30. 12:30 on a Sunday morning. So stand that behind because we're not going to need it as usual. Scatter the Lego. I always scatter the first bag so I can get to see what parts we need, and the big parts like these, because obviously these are towers, so let's turn the volume down. It's all the way down, otherwise I'll get an echo and it'll sound like I'm repeating myself. Right, let's open these up. Lego is fun to build. Yes, it's very challenging, but it's what it's all about. It's the challenge. So take my glasses off and we can continue where we left off. Alright, because I can see much better without them. So first things first, I need 2 of the square bricks. Nice. And we need some little cubes, single cube ones, which we've got. Let's put this up so you can actually see that front. There you go. Lovely. So we've got a couple of cubes in the wash-line one. So it looks like we're now going to continue where we left off on this. So if I move the camera up, you can then see what I'm doing basically. I'll have to look behind and see where these are standing. So we've got, okay. So it looks like we need 1 cube at the side of the black. Yes, we do. Cool. And one of the other side. One of the other side. So it's got to go towards the facial paint at the end of the day. And the brick. Oh, it says you need 4 of them, not 2. Right, that's interesting. Right, we're going to put the cube bricks behind that, and we're going to grab another 2 of them That's my miscalculation. I couldn't see that. I thought you said 2. We needed 4. We got exactly 4 in that pack, so there was 4 in there. And then where does the other 2 stand? Ah, one behind on the corners next to the square cube. So we need to put these on the square side so it sort of fills it in. Right, cool, okay. Put that to one side for a minute. Whatever that noise was for a minute. Sounds like a plane. So, it looks like we need like a step 1 on that. 3 of them, apparently. Wow. Okie dokie. Well, you've got 3. Exactly 3. So there must have been 3 in the pack, because that's exactly what they've given me. So, what do we need? Oh, now that cube looks a little bit longer, which is going to be one of these. We need 1 of them. 2 of these. Cool. 1 of the 4 singles. Yes, 1 of them. And 1 of the single little double ones. So it's got 2. So first things first. Looks like we've got to build something up there, so which is great. So it says take 1, put 1 at one end. And that. So we've got 1 at end and 1 at the other. Right, okay. We've done that, so we've made like a sort of long one on there. And then what we need to do, oh, I did take 1 of the cube flat 4s. So we need 1 of the flat 4s, I think see that in the top corner, and put it next to it. So we've got that sort of look. Cool. Okay. And what else do we need now? Do we put right, okay. I'm really confused because it says you've got 2 of them. We've got 1 that needs to go underneath. So we've got 1 that needs to go underneath on this side, so it gives it this look, basically. So hopefully, and we need to put that brick underneath it. So it looks like we put the brick underneath into it, so it gives off this sort of design, and then we stand these. We put 2 of these, apparently 2. So we stand 1 and then the other, so it looks like a step, basically. Don't know why, but there's nothing else under that side. So okay, we've got 1 left. Oh, we didn't need 3. It says you only need 2. Right, okay. So I misread that wrong. Sorry. It looked like 3 because the way the book's situated. Cool. Now we need to bring this back in and sit this on top. And this part sits on top of here. That's what you're saying. And then, hold up, let me just double read on that. Because we've got hold up. I'm a little bit confused on that because it's saying on there. Ah, right. That I think these cubes are wrong. Because looking at this cube, right, you've got to be facing the back, right, facing the back end, not the front. And I think the cubes have been placed wrong, very wrongly. So I think what's looks like I might have to move them because this brick it's got to sit along the top there. So let me take the bricks back off replace these bricks, because it's basically saying that the brick needs to be sitting on top, right, with that, and then you put, it looks like the brick goes, hold up, one brick goes in front of that, and the yellow, single yellow one goes inside. Right, okay, sort of makes sense. Right, so I did get that wrong at the end of the day, so let me put that one on there and put the brick in front of that. Okay, no, in front of the other block one. And where do the other two go? So it looks like one goes, no, hold up. So one literally looks like it goes inside. Yeah, one inside of that block. So one inside, but we've got two left. So where did the other two go? Behind it? Yes, it does. So it looks like it slots one behind. So let me show you where I've put it. So one goes behind that one block because it looked like it left a gap and we needed to fill the other one in. So I've repeated that. Right, okay, we sort of got there in the end. Again, a little bit confusing, but you know, that's where it's telling you where it needs to sit. And that's now sitting correctly. So now it looks like we're going to have to do the same again. It says you need two of them, which there is two. One of the four. One of that long brick, yeah, okay. Two of these, cool. We need a 4 long, which we have got a 4 long, and one short 2. So, same thing again, but we're going to have to reverse it because obviously I've done, that was the first bit that they told me to do, so now I've got to reverse it and do this side so it looks like it matches from the other side, but you've got to be facing it at the back because otherwise. How you doing, buddy? I didn't see you come on. Pepperoni, Lego Island. Ah, oh, right, you're a Lego fan. Yes, big fan here. I do love my Lego. This is the only one that I've got in Lego. I did have a previous, let me grab it. I did have an Xbox 360 one, but it wasn't made by Lego, it was made by Mega Bloks. And I only managed to get the controller because the Xbox 360 was missing too many components. As it is, this version of the Lego of the Pac-Man, the one I'm building at the moment, I've really just come across there's 2 pieces missing. Lucky enough, which is very unusual for Lego because Lego don't normally have pieces missing out of their packs. They normally are pretty rock solid on that front. But you know, I've managed to, the bits that they give you over, there was managed to, like on this piece up here. When I was putting these together, I was supposed to have had a grey one, which you can clearly see. There was a grey one in a corner. This one's black because it was missing. Lucky enough that I had a spare one. Otherwise, I can't make the back. Otherwise, the door won't close, which is frustrating at the end of it. So far, only 2 bits were missing. But we sort of got there in the end. But yeah. But yeah, this is what we need to continue doing. So, really cool. So, right, now I need to reverse this now. Oh God, this is going to be fun, isn't it? So, 2 of these together, reversed. So, I'm going to do, instead of starting on this end, I'm now doing that end because it has to be, well, it don't matter because you can reverse it anyway. So, even if it's like that and you start up there, you've only got to turn it round. So, it's not a problem, but I'll follow it, what the book says. It does make sense on that. So, that one, the brick, and where do we need to go? One in a corner, yeah, we do. Then the brick. So we need to do the wall stain on there and the brick underneath, and then the same thing again, just two sitting on top. Hold up, would help if I got it round the right way. So we want that sort of look. So yeah, really cool. So now I need to put this on the other side, and that should now fit snugly, and it does. And we filled that gap in because now I've got it the correct way. Put that one in, and it now matches. So I've just got to make sure that this is all snug down, and it is. It's all nice and snug. Cool. So now we've got that sort of look that's going on top. So yeah, really smart at the end of it. So yeah. So right, that piece is now done. Cool. And it tells you that that's where it needs to sit, and there should be a gap, and it is. Cool. Lovely. So we need, how many do we need? 4 of this. That's that 4 of the 4s, flat 4s. So that's 1, 2, 3, and exactly 4 of these ones of the flats at the end of it. And we need 1 flat of the 6. So 4, and the one, this one's got 8, this one's got 6. So, but I always say count 4s because I count the dots. And that one's got the 3s. So if you're hearing me saying that, yeah, you got that wrong. No, that's just how I calculate it. It's how I work at the end of the day. So we need to take 1 of the 4s of the dots, take the 3 dot ones, and I need to place that directly in the centre of that 4. So it creates this sort of design at the end of it. And then we need to put 1 on one side, 1 on the other, and 1 on top. So you've got this sort of design. I think that's to bridge it to go underneath so it looks flush. So you've got one bit that goes under, something else it sits on. So it looks like that goes under, and then it looks like it continues, and it is. Looking at this, that's exactly what we've just created for that to sit under. So this sits under that gap, basically. Looks like, no, does it look like it sits under the gap? I probably don't think it does. Let me just double check to make sure, because I'm lifting the bloody blocks up here now. Great. Let me put that on. I've just lifted that up, and now it's not sitting. Right, there it sits now. Right, okay, cool. So, does it sit on top? It sits on top, not underneath. So, my mistake, because there's a little ball thing right underneath there, grey ball. So, it will have to sit on top. It will still have to sit on top and not underneath. Otherwise, because this has all got to be flush. Because obviously there's a back plate to go on this, and I've not put the decals on, so the decals will go on after I finish completion. Once I give it a clean, I will do a summary, and I'll go over the summary, and then I'll put the decals on once I've cleaned it, and then that'll be the official finish of the literally the little bar top one. So, but it does look cool, but it won't go back. It goes back so far, and then it jams, which you don't want to see. It's jamming here if you go backwards. I don't think it's meant to go backwards. It goes fine forwards, not back. So I'm thinking that was the general idea. So you have to be really careful with that. Don't break that chain, because then you're going to end up with having some major problems. And they don't give you any extra chain link. I think I've got 3 pieces left over, and that's all I've got. So the next part, it looks like I'm going to have to take 4 of these, 4, and that's it. So it looks like then, now we come in at the top and put these, they literally just clip on top. So it looks like that's it. Well, yeah, minus the ears. Hate that. No. Cool. and we've got to put one that side, cool, on that one. So we've got a black and a yellow theme, because I think that's what Pac-Man was. It's always been a black and yellow theme with Pac-Man, which is really cool. I love the black and the yellows, and that blue really pops. It looks really nice with that colour. So I'm thinking with the black it really stands out. But the trouble is with Lego, you can't go too mad. You can't put too much pressure, because it is still breakable, and you don't want to. I know you've got to push them in snugly, but you don't want to go too mad, because otherwise you'll knock all the bricks out, and then you've got to try and put all that back together. It's not ideal at the end of it, and you do have to make sure that there is no gaps in. I know you're not going to eliminate all of the gaps in Lego, because it's Lego, but you really want it to make it where you don't want to see too many gaps. It's because this is going to be a show piece, and it sort of gives off a jagged, sort of rugged look with all the bits on top of the Lego anyway. So, but that piece is now done. So we finished that piece. So now it looks like I've got a crack on. It looks like we're building the top part of the plate on the Lego piece itself. So, so now it looks like I need a block of 4. So we got two of them, and 2 of no. Looks like I need 2. Oh no, they are in there. They are in there. At the end of the day. This is reasons why I don't tip too many pieces out with Lego, because these pieces, not these ones, the extremely small pieces, you've only got to lose it on the floor and it's game over. Especially if you've got dark brown carpet like myself, and then you're trying to have an issue trying to look for it, because you think, where the bloody hell is that gone? I can't find it. So that one block looks like it goes all the way at the back, and you should see that you've got a piece. If I look in there, I can show you. So it looks like you've got a piece missing, but that's the idea of the other brick. You put it on top, so it looks like it continues all of this. So, which is simple enough. Like you said, the trouble is with Lego, it's not always, the book's very confusing, and it's confused me numerous of times of trying to put these pieces together, which has really threw me off. Because the mechanism, like the high score table and the cylinder, this wasn't sitting correctly. For some reason it seemed to sit offset, and it wasn't the way I put it together. It was just the way it was situated. That's why I put the sides on, and then I used the sides as a guide, but it was telling you to put it on first. I didn't. I put it on after I put the sides up, and the sides helped me to guide it correctly. And it did snap into place. Lucky enough it did. So we got there in the end. There's been some right tricky bits on that Lego, and the maze, doing this 3D maze with all these dots, again, not the easiest, because on the back you've obviously got all of this complication to try and render, and and try to do that gear mechanism. That's not been the easiest part as well. That put up a fight. Try to put that together, but again, did get there sort of in the end. So it looks like now I need 3 of the black. So this is nearly built. So really, from one pack of the box, there's 14 packs of this Lego build. So I mean, each episode I've done has been over 3 hours long, and it's took me the last couple of days. And I'm now up to part 12 out of 14. So we're still not finished yet. We're not out in the neck of the woods yet, and it's still not finished. So doing these type of builds, and that's not a big build. It's 2,600 and something one pieces on the build page. So it's a lot of pieces to put together. But it is fun. The idea is it is fun putting it together, but I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time, since I was a kid. Trying to see, since I last put Lego together. So it's been a challenge for me, because again, I've run into 2 issues where 2 pieces are missing, so which has not helped the situation. So it stops you from building it. lucky enough that the parts that they did give you over, because you're always going to get some residual bits over, that actually helped me to continue to build. Otherwise, I'd have had to stop and contact Lego and say to them, I'm pieces missing, which would have been a shame. So now we need to take the 3 pieces of this Lego and put them right at the back. So I'm keeping this facing forward, right, because I'm looking at the picture behind me, and it's basically saying put them right at the back, and you don't need to worry about that. So it looks like, but again, just hold underneath, because if I push that down, I can see that bending, and I know what happens. So if you push Lego, it's not being supported underneath, you loosen all the bricks up underneath it, and then you're back to square one again. No, I've done that wrong, as I usually have. So it looks like big brick first to go over the small brick, then a small brick in front of that big brick. Same on the other side, big brick, then small brick, and then you put your backs in, because otherwise, that's why it's not being supported. Because I thought, yeah, I've got to hold that, because I can see that flexing, and then that's going to loosen all the other bricks up. That should then give us a nice black border. So it looks like now I'm continuing building this up, because we've got the Pac-Man to sit on top of it, which I've built. So the Pac-Man should, where did I put the Pac-Man? It's a pack build. Bear with us, because I did have the Pac-Man bit that you sit on top. Oh, here it is. It's down the bottom. So basically, this is part of the Pac-Man. And this put up a challenge, because the gear mechanism in this to turn, you've got a button at the back. So when you press, he flips and chases the ghost, and when you release, it goes back. So I assume when this is done, this sits on top, which it does, on top of the Pac-Man. So it looks like it sits on top of the arcade. So, which is going to look really cool. So yeah, I can't wait for that piece, for that to be finished on that. So yeah, that's probably the reasons why you're building this up, to put that on a plinth for it to sit on. So, which is going to be really cool. So the next part is, we're at page, what we page now? 289 out of 364. So it is gradually now creeping up to finish this off. Thank God it does, because it's took me long enough to do. So I need 2 of the long bricks. I need 2 of the short bricks at the end of it. I've got 2. There's different lengths, is there? No, they're all the same length. No, cool. They're 2 the same lengths on that one. And I need 2 of the 4 brick ones. So it looks like, again, bring that back in. It looks like I'm continuing building up again. So it's going the same thing. So what's it going this time? Right. Short brick first. I know why they do long brick, short brick. It's because you want the bricks overlapping each other to give it strength. I know why they do that. So that makes sense, because you want to keep this as strong as possible on that front. So I'm putting is that short brick first? Yes, short brick first, and it overlaps part of that long brick. So then it's sort of like that, and then that sort of gives it its strength. So, and looks like we now have to do 2 at one side, 1 in one corner, 1 in the other, and then these 2 again overlapping the bricks, because that's probably why they're doing it, and it does overlap the brick. And we got that look up here. So it looks like now we've built the side walls up, and I think that's where that sits, because that looks about the right. It looks about the right height, about near enough of the right height when that sits on. So I think that's how it's going to sit on top of it once we put the plates on and everything else. So yeah, it's going to hopefully that'll look quite cool. So. It's obviously showing you, the book's showing you with the decals on. I'm not putting them on just yet, because I want to clean all these fingerprint marks, because you don't want to put these lovely decals on and then, you know, and it don't stick properly, because you've got all your greasy fingers all over it. So I will be putting gloves on. I'll give it a lovely wipe down, because it's just absolutely smothered. So I'll make sure it's all nice squeaky clean, and then I can put them on, and that'll actually look a lot better. We're still building that place up, so blimey, I think we're now running out of the bricks now, so we've got to take the remaining 2 of these long yellow ones, 4 short of this 3 dot ones. 4, did it say 4? 4, that's the last 4. 1 black of these, 1 black, cool. And now it looks like now this is now coming up to the end of this build up here. There must be a reason. So again, it looks like the long bricks this time go all the way into the corners this time. So one's going over the brick to tie that brick in, because there's nothing to tie it in otherwise. Same that side. And then the remaining black brick goes in the centre that now overlaps these 2 bricks. So then that gives that a little bit more strength. Not the easiest to put in. Again, just be careful, because what I normally do is put them in at an angle and then slot them in and then push down and then hold the bottom, because again, it's not the easiest to put these in. So now, what side do I put? Do I put the long? Oh no, because they're all the same short brick, so it doesn't matter. So the short brick overlaps one of the other bricks, and it does. That then finishes that corner, so it doesn't matter because they're all the same, basically. But I can see on the side it is overlapped part of that brick. So again, it has give it strength, because this is now all tied in and it's not going anywhere. But I'm not saying that if you drop this, it probably will, not only break it, but you will pull some certain bits off it. I've just had a look. Yeah, they need just pushing down just a snug, because this side is all, I've noticed there was some gaps here. I've just pushed it down because again, there's still nothing bonding all this up. Not due yet until we put the roof on. Right, so the front on the next part we're going to do, oh god, this looks complicated. So the page what we're up to, we're at page 275. Now I've got to make this little tiny device, and it looks complex with little cubes, and this is what does it. It's these little cubes that if you don't get this in the right order, it shows up on there, and you've got to get this right. So I'm going to tip these out because there's not many pieces in. I don't normally tip all the bits out because, I try and, if the bag's full, I'll make sure I get it about a quarter of the way down, and then I'll tip out the remaining. Because there's only one bag, because I've had multiple bags, like bag 10 that had 3 bags in. This bag, bag 12, only had 2 bags, the big bag and the small bag. So you do get some that's going to be like just a few bits and pieces in. So yeah, so it looks like I need 2 of the flats. Cool. That front, let me pull that in so you guys can see. So I've got 2 of them, and they look like they have to go on top of each other. So we've got like a raised piece. Right, that's done. Next part is another one, and one of these pieces. So I don't know what this piece is called. It looks like a little piece that sticks in the centre, but so far so good. And it looks like that yellow flat brick goes on top. So we've got this sort of design. Cool. Okay. And that looks like that then sits, the brick sits on top on one of the sides there, and it creates this step format. So it looks like it does that sort of connection, which I followed that. Cool. Now we need one of these slanty ones that's got the 4 on the back there. On that, and then that looks like that goes on the back of it. So we've got this, so it looks like it's creating a fancy pillar. That's what it looks like. Probably sits on the front on that, so because you've got a slope piece, and the slope piece gives it its, gives it off some fancy looks. So it looks like, and it looks like we've got to do this 3 times. So I'm hoping, well, whatever that is, I'll have to copy it 3 times because it says 3. It's got 3 X's. That means 3 times that you need to do it. And it looks like that because I've got one now, and well, I've only got one of them, so I don't. Oh no, there is. So yeah, that looks like we're going to have to do this 3 times anyway. So I've got 2 of them, 2 of them. So that makes sense. With the remaining of that, yeah, that would be exactly right. So whatever I do once this is finished, times it another twice on top of that one, so it gives you 3. So it looks like now I've got that piece, right? Then you need a small green piece and one of these, which is cool. Okay, so it looks like the wheel goes like one of them long rod things. One of these goes through it, but we ain't got to that point yet. But this side, one of these green pieces have to go to one side, facing the hole. So pushing that in, we only need 1 because we've got exactly 3 on the table, and I've got 1 piece of each, and times that, which would be about right. That then has to sit. Right, now let me get this correct. The back, yeah, I need to flip that over. Now this is the idea of getting the right orientation. The smooth side sits on near where the brick goes, the dark grey and the green. Is that right? Yeah, it does. And we leave this all exposed. So that then sits to the flush with the green side on there. Then we leave a gap, and that we leave the one single bit that's with connection, and then you've got like a lip on that. So it looks like we have to do that 3 times. Let me have a look on the other page and see if that's correct. Yes, it is. So right, I need to copy that now twice. So again, same thing. It should be actually not too bad. We take these 2 pieces, and I'll just have a quick look, make sure I get it around the right orientation at the end of the day. So we take one of them, cool, and then sit that on the corner. Yeah, we do, with the hole facing the 2 little bricks. And then I take this one, reverse it, put it on the side, make sure that's snug. And what else is it? Take the grey. It doesn't matter which side these are because they're both the same. Just put it right on the corner of that slope, and then take your green brick, put it on the side, and we're done on that one. So that's now 2 for 2. Same thing again. Snap. What do we need? Last one of these, which is going to be inside, then the yellow brick. Then take the remaining slanted brick, put that on, take that piece, put it on, and then hopefully that's it. Now we've got our 3 pieces. So hopefully, Jesus, they drive around here. I think they're sterling moss. So we've got 3 of exactly the same pieces now that these are identical. So cool. Now I'll leave them pieces there, right? I'll put the big pieces to one side because I know they're going to be for the side build up. So that's now done. It's not asked me to put anything else in, so I'm turning to page now 292, and we're up to page 279. So he's saying take one of your long pieces, take one of these. We've got exactly 3 of each. I can actually see on there now we've got 3 blues, we've got 2 flat blues and this little single one. Got 3 red cubes and 3 black long ones. That one goes over there, so I don't know what that was doing over there. So yeah, we've got 1 of each, so that should be enough to finish this off. So there weren't no pieces missing. So we take one of these long ones, they're solid, they've not got no holes in, and put it directly. Is that got to be, yeah, so you've got a calculator that it's got to be even both sides. Let me double check. So I'll just count 3 on each side. Yeah, and it's got 3 on each side, so it overhangs. So same thing again, 3 on each side, make sure that we don't have any issues. And we got 3 on each side. We've still got to build this up, but they're identical to each other. Now we take the red brick and we put it across. That should be the exact length of that. So now that brick cannot go anywhere. It can't be pulled out, it can't be taken off or flipped up. So that's simple enough. So these go clip on. I still find Lego fun to build. I know it's a pain, but it is fun. I definitely do find it. This has been a right challenge at the end of the day. Now, due to that Lego, right, with that block going through, you're going to need to take one of these, right? We need to put these on. But one of these, before that went on, you used to poke it right through. But you won't be able to do that now because this will only go so far because it's going to be against that brick. And it'll be the same with that grey and the green one behind. The depth will only go just so far against that brick. So don't try and force it. If you're thinking, why isn't it going through? Well, because the brick's solid. It's like you, if you're trying to push something through, if you drill a hole and it only goes so far down, it's not going to go any further, and it's the same with that. So don't run away that you're thinking it's going to be fine. Right, I've also, right, that's going to be interesting because, right, yes, on these, you've got the long piece and the short piece, right? Now this is the most critical part. Now, when you're putting these in, the book's telling me to put the long, take one of these and get it round the right orientation first, which you've got to do this 3 times. So it's got to go the grey and the green. This is the side we need to put the long shaft through, and we've got to push it all the way until it stops, which it does. It won't go in because, like I said, it's sitting against a brick. But we need to leave this side exposed out for that reason. So we leave the little small piece with the round cap and then the long shaft. So we do that 3 times. No, I've got it round the wrong way. Yeah, brilliant. Right way. Make sure facing it the right way, and we have. That's just, they slot straight in. So it's gone in the grey and the green, and it's now all the correct sort of formats, which is cool. Right, and if you're not sure, the book tells you, if you're not sure on that, the book tells you again with the 1-on-1. The 1-on-1s, when you see a 1-on-1 on the book, basically you can measure it up because that's the original length and part on that. So if you're not sure, if you've got a short one, you're thinking, well, if I put it onto the 1-on-1 and it's shorter, then it's incorrect. You've done it wrong. So it looks like now we now need to put these on top of the pillar. So it looks like it's exactly it. So, which is cool. I'm not putting these bits on yet. Oh no, we do have to put these on. Not these. These pieces. These are finishing pieces. Right, cool. Okay, well that's simple enough. They just go on top of each other. Make sure they're snug. So it must be a finishing piece. I didn't see that. I actually missed a chapter there. So, because this is chapter 281. So, put them on top of the red brick. It must be a finish point. They're all snug. So we've got all the 3, got the 3 blues on there. They can't go on any other way. They look like they correctly all go on top of that. Cool. Now we need to bring this back in. Now, it looks like we need to put them up here. And that's probably the reasons why you have to leave a gap. Because this is where it all sits. And looking at it, we need to put this correctly in the centre of where these sit. So now we need to space this out. So straight away we've got a slope, and on that, where the edge of that slope is, right, on the beginning of that brick, we need to put one end facing the long shaft, because obviously you can't put it that side, it's not going to fit. So it can only go on one side. And where we've got that cut out, it goes right on the end of that brick, right, and it snaps into place. And it does, it sits in there perfectly. But the second one, right, is a little bit, because there's no slope there, we've got a little lip sticking out, what we had to build at the back. So that will only sit onto that brick alone, which it should do, and it does, it sits in. Now we're building this up, and the same thing again, that black brick that goes right through, these sit snugly, so you can only put these in one way anyway, so which is cool. But again, like this one's putting up a fight. This is what I said, don't force it, just gently try and tease it in, and then give it a little push down. So we've now got them in, and it does look. So we've got all of the bricks, and this is the orientation. So this is then, that must be a guide where they all sort of slot into each other, and it's now give it a bit more strength at the back as well, so the bricks can't be pushed in. I'm not saying that the bricks can't be pushed out, but it stops them from pushing in. But there's a lid to go around this and the back as well. So I was supposing it would go, it probably would be like, once that lid's on, that's it. Because these sides are still quite weak, because there's nothing binding these side bits yet. So we've still got two pieces, which again, they've not mentioned because I haven't got to that bit. But we'll find that out now. Ah, right. That's what I thought. So these pieces are going here. Cool. And one piece on the top there. So you've got that sort of look. I suppose in it makes sense because you've got the Pac-Man maze and it all sits on top. So it gives you a nice sort of look on that front anyway, which is really cool. But we've got nothing here, so they didn't give me nothing to put on. That is bag 12 of 14, so, which is really cool on that front. So this episode was actually quite quick, so it went quite swimmingly. Well, no bits missing. The only things I've still got. Oh no, it didn't say, because I didn't see it highlighted in red. We've got to put these on, which again I've only just seen. But again, the book don't tell you. Oh, it does. I'm just too lazy to look. So when I looked at the book, I went, well, why have I got all these pieces? It's telling you you've got to put the sides on. Build the rest of the remaining sides up. So let me put these on quickly. And these can only go on one way, but they've got to go inside. So these don't go outside. You don't want to see these bits. They've got to be inside. So it looks like one flush panel. So black on black, yellow on yellow. At the end of it, which is cool. That's that side done, and then it'll be finished on that bag. Right, cool. So we finished that side on that, but again, these are quite weak because there's nothing really, on that front. But that is now that section is now officially done. There's not even one piece over, not one piece. So, which is great. So that's that bag now officially done. So we've done all of that now. So I've put the sides on, we've built all the front up, and I've put all of the pieces obviously at the top. So this is now, obviously waiting for bag episode 13. So I'm going to come back. Alright, I'm going to end this stream now because I'm doing this in parts, like I've done it all. It does make sense. If you want to come and watch the next part, it's virtually going to be, as soon as I end this stream, I'm going to restart the stream with another part, so we can continue. So we've only got two more bags to finish this build to completion, and then once that's done that, the next will be a clean, and then I'm going to put all the lovely decals on this, and then that's officially done, because that's why they're showing you in the book, put the decals on now, see, and then it tells you like the high score and all of that. I'm not putting them on yet because I can see a lot of my fingerprints is just smothered, which is, if you try and put these stickers on something with greasy hands, I mean my hands are clean, they're not dirty, but the grease of your hands obviously ain't going to stick too great. So, and they'll start peeling off, and they only give you one lot of stickers. So I'm going to clean it. I've got some cleaning solution, give it just a light clean, get all them fingerprints off, and then I'll peel them off and then put them on, and then they will line up perfectly then. So that's probably the reasons why I didn't put them on while I was building it. So on this build is officially done. There's not even one piece over, which all the other pieces I actually had pieces left over, some pieces left over, and I did put it correctly, but they do that just in case. And I've noticed the pieces they leave you over are very small pieces, not big pieces. It's probably, yeah, these are the pieces they leave. So basically they're all small pieces, and I know why they give you the small ones, because the chances are if you're putting it or popping them on and you put it on the table and it pings off, it's gone under a chair, a table, or in a deep carpet or something, and you're thinking, I can't find it. Well, that's why they give you these small pieces there. I mean, I've got a couple of spare ghosts and Pac-Mans looking at it. Yeah, I've got a couple of spare Pac-Mans. So I mean, I suppose you could put them on here, because the spare ones that they give you, if you look right up on the close, you can put them at the bottom, and it looks like the arcade board that you've got two spares or a couple spare. So, you know, it's decoration. It's really how you want to, you know, place it. But the good thing is, you know, if you want to put that on, you can actually place them on, so you can look like you've got more ghosts chasing you. I probably will. I'll give it a go and see what it looks like, you know, at the end of it. You know, put them around a board or something, or put them at the bottom of the board so you look like you've got more lives and more cherries, because some of these you've got a couple of extra cherries. There's another bit of fruit on there, I've noticed, so I can put them on there on the side, and actually so it looks like I've gained extra lives. But we have got some extra bits, so I'm not bothered if I don't think there's going to be any more small builds, because I've done all the small work there. So it looks like it's all of the big work that needs to be done. So yeah, I'm going to come back very shortly after I end this stream, and I'm going to continue. It will be part 13, because this is part 12. So part 13 of the build out of 14 to actually get all this done. So I'm going to say thanks for watching. I'm going to be back very shortly, and I'll see you again virtually in a few minutes. I'll see you soon if you want to join. Thanks for watching.